Hey, Pelvic Posse, and welcome to the Empower Your Pelvis Podcast. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Empower Your Pelvis Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Fisher, and today we have one of our, I don't want to say contestants, but that's what's coming out of my head right now. One of the gals that has joined in Dr. Erica with her birth prep course that she's had over the last 4 weeks. So today we have Miss Andrea Simianer, and she is joining us and is going to tell us a little bit about herself. So Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, we're excited to have you. Dr. Erica will be joining in as she is wrapping up with a patient. So you might see or hear her join in as well. But Andrea, go ahead and tell us, this is your second pregnancy. And tell us a little bit about your first pregnancy, prep for labor, all the jazz.
Yes. So with my first, I did the typical read the birth book and
what to expect when you're expecting, but
yes, exactly. I did that. I did the classes that were recommended by the hospital of, your birth prep. We did it online so that we could work through it on our progress, different schedules. That was what worked best for my husband and I. And that was pretty much the extent of my knowledge going in.
And what kind of stuff did you learn on the online ones?
You learned a little bit about different positions, a little bit about epidural, tiny bit about C-sections, and kind of just, you're going to be uncomfortable and try and do your best. And that was kind of all that I remember.
Okay.
And there was probably a little bit more, but I wouldn't say that I felt like I knew I was going to rock it.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, okay, well, here's my birth plan off of that, knowing it might change the day of, and that's okay. And
how did it? I was going to say, how did delivery end up going?
So I ended up being up with very minimal sleep for like 48 hours before even going to the hospital.
Woo.
I'd had maybe like an hour or two because I couldn't get comfortable to sleep. I had worked all day and I told my husband, I was like, I think we might be going to the hospital tonight. And he's like, okay, I'm going to get some sleep now.
One of us has to be ready.
Yes. And I was like, that's fine because I need you later. Like right now, there's not a whole lot that you can do for me. So it was kind of just using the birth ball at home, using the exercise ball and just trying to get comfortable. And I had back labor. So it was different feeling contractions back there. I didn't feel them across my tummy very much. And so that kind of made it tricky to time my contractions as well. So kind of woke him up at the time where I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm 5 minutes apart. We should go. I was like, the worst case scenario, if they say you're not there yet and send you
go home.
But since I had not slept and I had so much pain in my back, I ended up opting for the epidural, which gave me some time to rest, which I desperately needed. Yeah. And I was very thankful for that. But I did not know that you could move around very much with an epidural, which I do now know.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of just laying there and switching to sideline, just back and forth. And I did regular chiropractic care with my first as well. So I did know that could help with keeping everything in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it did help because when it came to pushing, I didn't have to push for very long. It was maybe an hour. And then she was there. So it was kind of a whirlwind, but I had kind of a bad reaction to the epidural, especially coming off of it. So this time around, I am hoping to go without. And so I've been trying to do a lot more research and prep on my own to help with that.
Amazing. So how did you find Empower Your Pelvis?
I found you guys on Instagram when you did a takeover day for Macaroni Kid.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
Yes.
Like 2020.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then I was like slowly learning and finding out all these things. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
I don't think
amazing.
I knew I had a pelvic floor back then.
Probably more than half of the people on social media don't realize it, what they are, what they do, and how they can support us.
Biggest thing for me was that I didn't realize how much it could make a difference with low back pain. And I had that pretty much my whole life off and on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, that is a big reason I want to sign up.
So did you see one of our, like, I guess, posts or ads or videos kind of talking about childbirth prep?
Yes. So I had been watching for the birth boot camp that you guys had done before. And then I saw this coming up, I was like, oh, that would be awesome. And then it was just kind of looking, I was like, okay, when's the timeline of like when I have to be signed up and budget and all of that. Right, so like getting it taken care of and just talking with my husband, I'm like, I don't really want to do a birth prep class from the hospital. I would rather spend the money here. So, just talking through why I was wanting to do that. I had been having round ligament pain, and he really likes my right side. So I just feel everything over there. And I was like, I just need something. And I think this could help. And it'll tell me if I need to do more in-person sessions. It'll tell me if I just need to do different exercises. It will give me a place to start.
Mm-hmm. So with our birth prep, Dr. Erica has a Voxer group, a community group that you guys can chit chat on pretty much every day of the week if you guys choose to do so. Have you enjoyed having the community aspect with learning exercises and all the information?
Yes, very much so. I love having, even if I actually really like that it's a small class. I purposely chose a college where I was going to have small classes because I like discussion.
Right.
And so this has definitely been able to give us that, from talking about all of the big things and just checking in on how things are going, to things like a silly question, what may feel like a silly question of like, why does my back hurt when I'm doing dishes? Just sometimes knowing that it's posture, sometimes it's knowing that maybe it's not something that you guys can help with. Maybe it is.
I've really enjoyed seeing all the pictures that you guys have posted when you guys are doing your exercises, or the nursery that you guys will put up. It's been and you guys all cheer each other on, which I think is really incredible to see too, that you guys have developed this own little group and excitement when somebody has a baby. Mm-hmm. Like one of the girls has already delivered, which has been really fun to see the pictures and, hear her story too.
Yes, definitely. And we all have different stories and backgrounds and are at different points. Some it's their first pregnancy, some it's second, third, and we all have different past experiences to bring in, and it helps all out.
Yes. Hey, Pelvic Posse. I want to thank you so much for joining into this week's episode of the Empower Your Pelvis Podcast. Can I ask you a couple of favors, please? Number one, can you like and subscribe to this podcast so that you can continue to empower your pelvis forever so that you will never miss out? Number two, can you leave us a rating and a review telling them how amazing we are and everything that you have learned about your pelvic health? And then number three, if you haven't seen the video version of this podcast, you can go over to youtube.com/C/Empower Your Pelvis for all your visual learners out there. We have all types of great visuals in there for you to not only listen to, but to also watch. Thank you so much again, and make sure to give your pelvis some love. Until next time, peace out, Pelvic Posse.